Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name is Jada Walker. I am your host for today's conversation, and my guest today is Sacha Reeb. He is the co-founder of Coup. We'll be talking about his business, the journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek of what it's really like to own and operate a business. So Sasha, thank you so much for coming here or being on here today. I would love for you to share a little bit about your background of who you are and a little bit of your business as well.
Well, thank you for having me. So my name is Sasha. I am, as you said, I recently co-founded Coup. And I will go back to what it is more specifically later. My background, I actually grew up in between in the world of fashion and advertising, very much into like
I
pop
I
culture.
feel like I caught that vibe with your hat. Like you are very
Really?
fashionable
Okay.
today.
So, it's mainly because I have a bad hair day, but that's just like why I have it. So I moved to from France to New York around like 1996, and I worked there. I started my career in advertising in an agency. It was a smaller agency, but an agency that did a lot of different things, from ad campaigns to brand development to package design. It was high energy. It was just like a lot of stuff to do, and it was very exciting. From there, I met a couple of people. It was just the beginning of the internet boom, and a couple of
Hmm.
people who were sort of founding or creating a digital arm to a pretty famous advertising agency in New York, which was BBDO. And I met those people. They were they were really great. It was a complete different culture. It was digital was completely different than traditional advertising. And I basically following this for many years, I focused a lot on digital communication and marketing, and basically developing also brands online, which was not like the usual thing to do back then because brands were always like sort of developed, set offline, not online. And so that
Yeah.
changed in those years. Back then, I was one of those like rare, not rare, I wouldn't say rare, but I was one of the first like creatives that did within advertising had actually just like went to digital. So it was easy to be like sought after by many agencies. And I was able to work at a couple of like really great agencies out there. I mean, not only here in the US, but also in Germany and in the UK. And lately, what my last stop was at a an agency that does a lot of content, but in a creative way, which was called Manifest. And again, it's about like my role mainly was about making sure that the team made sense, that we delivered great work, and my role in that was actually to help better the work, and very often also just like hands-on rolling my sleeves and just like do the work with the team. And after, I think that what happened is that after like so many agencies, I felt like I needed to do, I couldn't just like go and, oh, I'm gonna just like give it a shot at another agency, because every agency is a different positioning. Every agency has its maxims. Every agency has its like sort of like philosophy. And
Hmm.
it's there's a moment where I said, well, where I said to myself, I'm not going to adopt like someone else's language again. I think I want to be able to have like my own positioning, which I
Yeah.
realized today there is no positioning really. It's more of an act. The coup coming like in the last, like in the 11th hour of a project is more of an act than an action than a philosophy. But yeah, so in a nutshell, that's where I come from.
I like that. You have a very interesting story, especially whenever you said like you had moved, I think you said from, did you say Paris or France?
I
to New
moved.
York?
Yeah, I moved from France. I grew up in Paris and studied in the east of France in a cute little town called Strasbourg. And then I moved, or we moved with who was going to become my wife later, to New York City. And because we both wanted to go there, it was just like, it was just us giving it a shot, and it worked out.
Yeah, I love that. Especially because it was like so far back in the day, like when, like you said, the internet wasn't really even booming yet.
Not
Because
yet.
I was born in 1996. So hearing you
Yeah,
say that, I was
that's
like,
that
oh my
year.
gosh, like that's when
Yeah,
I was born. Like that
yeah.
was so cool. I feel like life back then was, I mean, I shouldn't say that because like I feel like life is just never actually easy, but it just seems like whenever you look back, like life was so much easier back then. I don't mean to say that like, because I feel like I'm being like, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for right now. Um, I'm not trying to like discredit anything that anyone did back in the day. It's just, I don't know. I feel like me being an adult, I realize more. So I feel like life is harder, but it just seems like life was easier back then.
Well, no, no, I get it. I don't think that it was easier or harder. It was just like different, really. I mean,
Yeah.
for instance, like looking for a job, I had to go to the public library where there were like all kinds of like books that I could check out. What were the agencies out there, the ones that I liked. Everything was
Yeah,
very,
I didn't
very
even know
random.
that.
Or even like going through the New York Times, which was not online, right? I was in New York, but they had
Right.
like a great like they had like a lot of like job posting on in the paper itself. But it was just like altogether different. But I mean, it's I think the big change was how we communicated with each other.
Yeah.
And then, cell phones were just about there. But then the real big change, actually, I think, along with the internet, was the smartphone. Was
Yeah.
that's what changed our lives the most. I would say it's a little bit addictive, so I would rather live without it. But
Me too,
but
honestly.
I don't think that things are worse today or better today than they used to be.
No, no. That's why I'm always like it. That's what I love back in the day. Like looking back, it was so much more simpler. Like social media was just not in the way of everything.
Yeah,
Like
that's
people actually
true.
had conversations and didn't need AI to tell them how to have one. But so let's set the stage for our viewers and listeners.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like? I know you are a co-founder, so how does that work with your other co-founder?
Yeah, so really, I think what needs to be said is that it's a very young company. Coup
Mm,
is very young. And the existing structure is Jinya, who is a strategist, and myself. Then the model of the agency, it's actually more of a collective than it is an
mm,
agency. It's we once we have like someone that needs our services, whether it's a day, 2 days, or 5 days before a pitch or a deadline, we just sort of curate the people that we want to work with. Those people are either just like self-employed, I mean, mainly creators and strategists. And the creatives can be designers, art directors, they can be copywriters, they can even be like, UX designers, which at times I consider, creative too. So based on what the problem is from our clients, we call the right people in. Again, some are employed, some are self-employed, some are freelancing, some are on the bench right now, or in between jobs, which is also the biggest challenge is to get people really quickly, is to curate that team really, really quickly. But so that's the structure. The structure is just two people that are just organizing the whole thing for the moment. I am looking for people who would like to join in terms of like being like more on the account side, but that's not right away actually, but in the future.
well, hopefully, if there's anyone in that field, they see this and they come to you and be like, "Hey, I'll help you."
But again, I cannot offer a salary yet, right? This
Right,
is
right,
this is what
right.
it is. So
Oh, right. So, whenever you look at your role, how many hours do you spend working in your business, like the job, and how many do you spend on the business with strategy and planning and stuff like that?
On the business, right now it's a lot because I do a
Yeah,
lot of everything myself, whether it's just like being the founder, but being the creative, being the IT person, being the operations person, being the investor, being the one that's actually just like working on new business. So I do a lot of I play a lot of different roles. It's also because it's, again, we're very, very fresh, it's very new. So I would say I I wake up, I'm actually up pretty early in the morning, naturally so. The world is not yet like, working, and I feel like I can do
yeah.
a lot of stuff. So I'm usually in front of my computer. I wake up usually around 5, and usually I'm in front of my computer by 6.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and
I used to be able to be like that, but now I'm like, I don't know. After having my child, she's taken all my energy away from me. I can't wake up until like 7:15.
yeah, no, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, but you said that you're on at 7:15. Is that what you're, or just up?
No, that's like when I wake up, like,
Oh, okay.
and that's
Well, but
like the
that's,
earliest I can't
yeah,
even get up.
yeah, but I don't think that it's necessarily normal to just like be up at 5 every morning. It's just a different like schedule.
Yeah,
But it allows me to just like do a lot of the stuff,
yeah.
to just like go through the to-dos for the day and to check the boxes. And then I can start like, okay, what do I need for the company to move forward? What do I need in terms of, like, for instance, like posting like an ad on LinkedIn, or who could I call? What do I need? And it's basically prepping the to-dos of the next day, but that can take like an entire day too, which is like, so usually I would say on average, I'm in front of my computer by 6, and I'm exhausted by 6 p.m.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, it's like 12 hours.
Yeah, but I
Damn.
mean, it's almost, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I take like
You
an
take
hour,
breaks, of course.
I take an hour break to go to the gym, or to just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's almost like you work on and off throughout that time frame. That's nice.
exactly.
Because it is nice to be able to take like a little break and like maybe just chill out for a second or go catch a
Yeah,
bite to eat, of course. Like everyone
yeah.
needs to eat. So let's actually get into the nitty gritty of the business itself. And let's look at your background a bit and what led you here. So, why did you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to choosing to work for someone else? And what was that transition like for you?
Well, it's really after I think I must have worked at what, 8 different agencies, and
Oh,
agencies with
wow.
big personalities, mean and usually also, delivering like great work. And all of these agencies have, let's say, their own stick. That means that they have like their own positioning, they have their own maxims, they have their own philosophy, and the way of they have their own rallying cry, right? And
Mm-hmm.
which sometimes is really healthy, and energizing, but sometimes, but often it also turns into bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Um, and after just like a lot of having adopted, or sometimes implemented myself, actually, a certain language and positioning, with other people, I felt like I couldn't do this anymore. I mean, it's like, I mean, how many gods can I just like pray to? It's just, it's bizarre at the end. And this is where, I thought, I cannot just like do that one more. I cannot do this again. And I would, I would much rather just like give a shot at, um, setting my own, or defining my own positioning, and go from there.
I like that. So, as you look back on your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you were challenged with and you were forced to overcome?
A lot of it is the biggest hurdle is actually always time. Um, because there's always a clock to beat. For instance, like building a website. I right now the
Hmm.
website that I built was very quickly put together. It's really just like putting the wheels as I am driving the organization, and everything has like a deadline, and I think that's the
Yeah.
big hurdle all the time. I think also the second hurdle is to establish credibility for an organization, especially when an organization is new. It's people want to see right away that you have case studies and that you're just like,
Hmm.
though I usually caveat, I say, listen, we're new, we're fresh. If you work with us, we're
Right.
dedicated to if we work together, we're dedicated to you. And but it's the biggest hurdle. It's time and credibility. These are two hurdles.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it is with a lot of people. Even me and my best friend, we were just talking earlier about time. We were like, life just keeps happening and it's just not
Yeah,
stopping anytime soon. So we just need to get
yeah,
to doing what we want to actually do because like
yeah,
we're running out of time.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So I totally understand that. So um sorry, I actually lost where I was gonna ask my question. Oh, I have yet to encounter a business owner who hasn't had peaks and valleys on their journey of building a business, of course. So, how do you manage the difficult days?
A difficult day? Is that what your
Mm-hmm.
question is? How I manage a
Yeah,
difficult day?
yeah. How would you manage a difficult day in your business?
Uh, Managing a difficult, I mean, I would have to, I would have to define what a difficult day is, which is um, basically just getting enough business in. Um, there is nothing really to manage any other than just like thinking about strategies to get new business in. And sometimes it just doesn't work. There are days where you're going to have like a lot of traffic, whether it's on your website or people just like texting or people just emailing. There are other days where it's just flat. And I think it's to manage again that time and where there is a lull and I still need to be productive because I still need to just like say, okay, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to do, more. I need to just like be more active. It's a hard day at work is mostly about managing myself and just like being resilient enough and driven enough to just like find more solutions and being up to whatever the challenges are of, oh shit, today the phone is not buzzing, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's actually move on to what makes your business so special. So, who primarily does your business serve? Like, if I were in the audience today, how would I know that I am a great fit for your service?
So Coup is not really an agency per se, an ad agency per se. It's more of a collective in between for that is made out of strategic people, creatives like me, designers, web designers, art directors, UX designers. Um, we again, that's a business that contracts and grows depending on the demand and depending on the need. And our main clients, I think, who could use us the most, the best, are agencies, ad agencies, when they have a deadline that, maybe the work is not cutting it because we usually intervene in 24, 48, 72 or 5 hours or 5 days. So it's agencies that are just like, oh shit, the work is not cutting it, the work is not good
Mhm.
enough. Um, maybe the team is burnt out and they need just like quick solutions very, very quickly. And we can offer this because I only work with pretty senior people in the business. So people can actually
Mm-hmm.
just, the people that I work with are people who are experienced enough to deliver very well, something very good, very quickly. And it's so for agencies, but also for internal agencies that which we call like in-house agencies, or even like
Mm-hmm.
for a VP, I don't know, or for a VP of marketing within an organization that needs to present something to his or her CMO, and the presentation is in 2 days, and there's no creative material yet, and she or he needs to be more persuasive in terms of what the content of the deck is. So it's really it's goes from agencies, in-house agencies, to marketing people within organizations and brands.
Oh, cool. It's almost like you guys are like the middleman for everyone type of thing. Is that like kind of the gist that I'm getting?
Well, I don't know if it's the middleman. It's really we are there to bring back an edge when you don't have the edge, whether it's a strategic
Okay.
edge or a creative edge. We are just like there in the last minute, what I call, but actually Amazon calls the last mile. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like during that period where you know that you cannot go back. The point of return is there's no point of return. It's gone already, or the point of no return.
Okay.
And you just like need an edge, and that's what we do. And we don't necessarily compete for being like an agency of record. We don't compete to replace, companies or organizations like partner agencies. We're just like here to help last minute.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm understanding a little more and more the more that you talk about it. Okay. So what is one thing that you wish that more people actually knew about your business?
Well, I think um, right now, since we are so much in the beginning, and one of the hurdle that I mentioned earlier, which is like credibility, um, I think I wish everyone would know that the people that work at or with Coup are amazing creatives, amazing strategists. You get the best people out there, and um, and that only because if someone would believe this, um, it would just like build credibility right away, and it would also just like establish trust to work with a very new company like Coup is. I mean, that's again like some credibility.
Mhm. Okay, so this is actually, we are going to lead into marketing. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit. I mean, it's basically a part of your whole thing, anyways, but it's something vital that every
Yeah.
business needs and often something that business owners struggle with. So I'm actually curious of what successful businesses are doing. I know you are a little newer, but what percentage of your monthly sales is typically invested back into your marketing budget?
Well, right now it's actually since a lot of what we do is self-funded, um,
Oh,
we are not spending any money in paid media, right? I mean,
nice.
what we do is really just like use existing channels in in the wisest way and the most creative way we know. Um, am I going to think about like boosting through, media planning? I don't know yet. But for the
Okay.
moment, just a big deal of my time, I mean, I would say 80% of my time goes into promoting the agency and making the agency, how can I say this? Just putting our names out there. And I mean, from right now, for instance, I haven't been able to really, either like, how can I say this? I haven't even like had the time to really just like focus on Instagram or TikTok. I just have the time to focus on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. And so
It's funny
it,
because there's more
it's
and more people using LinkedIn. I didn't realize it after until like taking some of my interviews and people have been talking about how they've
yeah.
been building their connections on LinkedIn. I was like, I had no idea that LinkedIn was basically like Facebook for some people. Like, I had no idea until I started taking some of these interviews.
Yeah. Well, what I had heard is that a lot of like the younger generations, especially I think it's actually younger millennials, really
Hmm.
like LinkedIn more than Facebook just because there is no bullshit on LinkedIn apparently,
Yeah, I guess.
and that and then the community feels, I guess, more real. That's what I read. But yeah, LinkedIn is a very powerful platform, and I am always amazed by how much of a part of the business like heartbeat that it is. I mean, I don't think that, I mean, at least not in advertising. I don't know how it is, and I don't know if you have like a fish producing like company. I don't know, you just canned fish. I don't know if LinkedIn is important, but co for
Hmm.
corporations, LinkedIn is seems to be very important.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on LinkedIn more and more now with this new job, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really cool. So actually moving on from marketing to sales, what does your sales process look like? Like if I were to refer someone over to you, what can they expect to experience as you guide them on the choice to do business with you?
I'm going to rephrase your question.
No, you're fine.
Actually, I can't rephrase your question. Can you ask it again?
Yeah, you're fine. I said, what does your sales process look like? And there's kind of like a two-part question. And then I said, if I were to refer someone over to you, what can you expect to experience, or what can they expect to experience as you guide them on the choice to do business with you?
Urgency. Because the very model of Coup is based on urgency. So everything needs to happen very, very fast. And so we have actually Coup has very simple flat fees, but everything is really based on time. Everything needs to happen very, very quickly. That means that if a potential client does not know whether they need us or not, they shouldn't reach out.
Mm,
They need to know that they need us. That would save already a lot of time, a lot of hesitation. Because if someone needs help like within 24 hours, that means that we on our end, we need to understand the problem, we need to gather the right people, and then actually do the work. So everything
right.
is pretty much, it's the clock is ticking really, really quickly. So it's urgency. Urgency. It's being very clear about what is needed. Though we can read a little bit in between the lines, I think, just because we've been in the business for so long. But
Yeah.
it's really just that quickness and clarity, and we're going to give the same in return. It's there's no um, since there are no layers. It's a very, very small structure. It's a very like non-political. It's very transparent. So, so we can react very, very quickly. If the organization or the agency is sort of hesitant, does not have really a green light, this is when things
Hmm.
start to be a little bit more difficult, just because chances are the risk is that we're going to lose time when there is no more time to be lost.
Okay.
So it's urgency.
I like that. I like when people are fast to respond and all of that. So I like that. Um,
Uh-huh.
so you had mentioned earlier having a little bit of a team where possible, and of course, I feel it's important to address the topic of building a team. So, how would you describe your leadership style in business, and has it changed over the years at all?
Yes. So what I like to do in my role right now is changing just because I'm managing so much stuff. But as a creative lead in an agency or within like a marketing environment, um, I am doing my best to inspire the team. There is a brief, there's a strategic, like, there's a business issue, there is a strategy, and I am here to just really make sure that the team has enough space and has enough resources and inspiration to just start working and start into the problem. And I've always, I think there was like a colleague of mine back then that described me as a dreamer, and which was odd because that's how some teachers would describe me when I was like really like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. This guy's always dreaming, he's
Hmm.
never working. And and I think it's one of the my main I don't know if it's a style, but it is the way I try to build an environment where people feel inspired, not afraid
Yeah.
to fail, and when they can actually just like feel free to just really deliver their best work. When they need more help from me, well, I will. This is where I roll up my sleeve and I do the work with them,
Oh,
and
that's nice.
hands-on, whether it's design or copy or yeah, and I love that. And I'm really happy that I was able to do that and I'm still able to do it. That's one of
Yeah.
the nice things also about Coup. And so it's yeah, no, and I wasn't always like that. I went through a period where I was probably a little bit rougher for my teams, where I had like some sort of the manage, but without really just like handling the relationship the right way with the team.
Hmm.
I guess I cannot say there is a moment, there is a period of my life where I cannot say that I was the most inspiring leader. I was more um, guiding, but not in the healthiest way.
Understandable. I've had multiple different bosses where they're either like a micromanager or like they like reins are free, like you do whatever you want, or it's
Yeah,
like how you are, like you're hands on and like you'll help them whenever they need it. Like I've had them all, I feel like.
yeah.
So I definitely understand like the different between like different bosses and like how you guys can change too. Cause it is nice, like you go through life or whatever, and then it's just stuff happens and you just kind of change how you are in your leadership. So
Yeah.
I like
And
that. Cool, cool.
there's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing wrong
Right,
about changing.
of course. So what has been your approach to hiring and retaining team members?
If I look at the past, because Coup is different, Coup really
Mm-hmm.
is. I was able to actually in the past, like over the past like 15 years, probably to establish healthier relationship and not burn too many bridges with people that I worked with in the past. So I think today it's easier for me to reach out to people when I think that they're right for the right job. So today it's really about more of having the right network than really
Mm,
just having a style of management, and to really recruit in the more like in the traditional sense. But I think to recruit, I've been always like trying to recruit good creatives, whether they were writers or art directors or designers. And again, it's to just really offering the lure of a creative landscape, which is like no one is going to keep you from being creative. I believe that some clients, not all of them, want brave work, and there's
Hmm.
always room for brave work. And I know that creative people really are, they really just, that's what they want. They want to be able to say,
Yeah.
I work in an environment where I can actually just like really go out there and be creative. And I think to retain them is to just like it's basically fueling them with energy, with positivity, very important. Uh, I say very often, leaders and people in the C-suite, I think they're paid well enough to just deliver a 24-hour, like 24/7 smile. We can't just go to work like without a smile. It's terrible. We need to be
Hmm.
able to just like, because that's the energize the troops. So it's really inspiring being having this positive energy and really just like also having like some empathy when things are not right, when the someone is hitting the panic button, or it's just like, okay, well, how do we just like manage the situation and get the best out of it without becoming like overwhelmed, or and therefore actually to get into some kind of paralysis where you cannot deliver anything anymore. Again, it's really creating a positive space where people are always like energized and inspired to work. And I think that as long as this is happening, there's going to be very little attrition. People are not going to leave. They feel that they can grow, but they feel also that they can do what they want to do, which is like being creative.
Yeah. I like that. I was actually I went to school for graphic design a little bit. I didn't finish, but I definitely felt like all of the judgment, and it's just like everyone's always judging you. It makes your creative spark kind of just like go
Oh,
away. That's
it's
how it felt for, or
tough.
at least for me, that's
Oh,
literally how it felt for me. I'm just like, I felt like everyone was judging me. And then also different jobs I've kind of had to do different like social media things with them. And I just felt like they were tearing down my work. And I was just like, well, then I don't
oh,
want to
it's
do this.
terrible. I led like a couple of like workshops at South by Southwest, and one of the point was, it's actually not that easy to be a creative because
Mm-mm.
like expression, which is you basically pull your pants down and you're very, very vulnerable. You put your work out there, and it's sort of just like, yeah, it's creative. It's going to be just
Right.
like bizarre. And if you start like having like some people just like either like destroying the work or making fun of the work, it's terrible. But
Yes.
it's also it's also the reality of a lot of folks within advertising, especially creators. 95% of our work gets killed, doesn't go anywhere, right? Only
Right.
5% of it does. And this is why we all need therapists, right? It's just like it's really, really hard to go through all this. And to be a creative, you have to just like you have to have a thick skin,
Yes.
because you don't have the choice to expose yourself
Mm-mm.
and basically be at the that's the way it is. I know it's hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So I've definitely
that's
been
why it's
like,
so important for a lead that's why it's so important for a lead like me to just like make people feel at ease, and
yes.
at least they're not going to be judged by me.
Right. I love that. See, I'm like, I needed a boss like you whenever I was in those positions because I definitely was like, oh no, I'm not gonna do this anymore. You're just not you're not the right boss for me. So
Yeah, no,
let's
it's
fast
tough.
forward and look at what's to come next. So where do you see your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
I would like to be a go-to resource, the go-to resource when folks are actually, when those agencies or organizations um, have this issue of the last mile, the last minute, or the last day when the work is not good enough or the work is not there, and they need that extra edge. I would because it's hard to, I mean, that's the goal because to be a go-to address where, it's basically like dialing 911, it's just like, yeah, you know that you're going to get some help,
Right.
right? And and that's what I would hope that we can become in time, which is if there is an issue, just don't hesitate. And and having that would also mean that the credibility and trust is established. That would be for me the biggest reward, and I think that in turn that means also that the business is healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. Also, I don't think I asked this earlier. So do you just serve like the Austin area or it doesn't matter? Like you can do anywhere.
It doesn't matter. It
Hmm,
doesn't matter. I mean, we prospect like nationwide. Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. So I know there's some people where they're just like, we just do this area because it's like it's easier,
Well,
you know.
I mean, for instance, I think that we should all I've started to reach out mainly to local businesses. I mean, not Austin,
Hmm.
but tech. And since I have a lot of experience in tourism and
Mm,
marketing, um, I reached out, and there are so many different like little, small like local tourism authorities and tourism
yeah,
organizations, and it's of course it's always like best also to be able to say, we're here with you, we're part of your community, we're close, we can meet if we want to, we don't have to. But there is a
yeah.
sense of community which is already establishes like a different kind of connection. But yeah, I mean, if someone reaches out from Seattle, I'm not going to not do the work.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure for our audience, the viewers, so that they know,
Yeah,
like, if they want to reach out to you, they can definitely reach out to you.
yeah,
Well, thank you, Sasha. You
yeah,
have a really interesting story. So as we wrap up, I have a few rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
yeah, yeah.
Alrighty. So what is the key to success for you?
In my case, and I've been thinking about this. It's I think it's zigging when others are zagging. I think that's what a key to success is.
I like that. I was almost like zigging, but then you said the zagging, so I said, okay, that makes makes more sense now. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. What is one piece of advice for other business owners that you would like to give?
I would give the same advice, which is zig when others are zagging. But I'm quite frankly, I think I'm too fresh of an entrepreneur to give anyone like an advice. But it's always to, you know, discover your edge and reveal it.
Oh, good. Great advice. Okay, and this is a little fun question. So if you had a little bit of magic dust that you could choose one spot of your business to sprinkle it, where would it be?
Um, I would, because I'm a designer and I'm a little bit OCD, I would definitely just like put a little bit of that dust on the website because it's not perfect, far from it. And I think I would put like a little bit of that dust on karma,
Hmm.
good karma.
And I'm
Not
like, good or bad?
karma.
Definitely some good karma on
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
All right. So before we get to the final question of the day, could you please share with our audience how they can follow you, learn more, and contact you?
So, I mean, they can basically go to Coup's website, which is www.coup.agency. They will learn about like how we function, why we're there, and there's a there's a an email address at the bottom of it But otherwise, which is called aho at crew.agency. And otherwise, they can email me directly at Sacha at crew.agency. But in that case, it would be SASHA at crew.agency. Um, they can reach me on LinkedIn. I mean, DM me on LinkedIn, which is, again, I am at Sacha Reeb. I think it's LinkedIn in Sacha Reeb. They can reach me there. Yeah, what else is there? I'm not gonna give my phone number. That
No, you don't have to give your phone number.
would
They'd be calling you nonstop, like, hey, I need this, I
and
need this.
yeah, and for the moment, my Instagram accounts are personal, so that it's nothing professional. I still need, again, as I said earlier, I hadn't had the time to really set it up for Coup yet.
Yeah. Well, awesome. So we've come to the final question of the day, and that is, what is most inspiring to you today?
I mean, overall in my life, just because I am at that stage of my life, it's going to sound cliche, but I am amazed by my three kids, actually, just because I am amazed by seeing the way they're carving their own paths. I'm amazed by that this is happening, that all of a sudden they don't need me.
Right.
Like you're doing this. It's just and especially it's completely detached from who I am and what I've done or
Mm-hmm.
my professional, like what I've decided to do professionally. This is pretty inspiring overall. I mean, it makes me more than inspiring, it makes me feel good and amazed. It's just like, oh shit. Um, and I think, I mean, inspiring. I've had like, and I know again, this is going to be another like very cliche answer. As much as I am somehow like scared of AI, I mean, scared in a sense that
It's like
is,
you're a little cautious with it.
well, I am actually not in my usage of them. I'm not cautious.
Mm-hmm.
But it it is amazing what a creative can do with those. It is
Yeah.
crazy. It is, and the thing is that they're getting better every fucking second. I'm sorry about the language, but
No, you're
they're
okay.
getting
You're okay.
better. They're getting better all the time, and to be able to be so much in control as a creative is crazy. From
Yeah.
and I know that not a lot of what is being used usually will go public because I wouldn't use like some of the stuff that I do in AI for a client. I wouldn't. Um,
Right.
Proof of concept for collapsing time again, for just like folding time. I mean, it's really what did I hear earlier? Like AI acceleration. I know that these are scary, like this is a scary nomenclature, but what it allows to do for a creative, it's amazing. That is really inspiring. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, AI, I've more recently gotten more into AI. At first, whenever it first came out, I was like, I don't know about this. I'll just not do it. But then I had people telling me how it helped them with their work, and like they're like, yeah, I get done with my job like way sooner than what I used to, blah blah blah. And so then I started using it for my work, and I was just like, wow, this is it does
Yeah,
actually help. Like it's
it
so
it
nice.
it's really amazing. So I mean, I really use it mainly to vet some ideas, for instance, right? Just like throw
Yeah,
the idea in it. And for instance, I can easily ask Claude, for instance, like, has this been done before? Which is very important for me to know. Oh, has
right.
anyone like thought about this
Yeah,
before?
especially being a creative. Yeah, it's like you want to
Exactly.
know. I want to
Or
be the first.
then, yeah, or just like to run a proof of concept or to get, okay, this
Hmm.
is working. And then to start like building visuals and what is amazing is that one platform can write a prompt for another platform. Like for instance, ChatGPT writing a prompt for Flow, which is like one of Google's like tool, and then getting like some amazing results, and it's just and
Hmm.
within 2 hours. It's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I'm like the internet is the whole world right now is just kind of crazy. Like everything just blows my mind at this point. I'm like,
Yeah,
nothing is like surprising now, but
it's true, isn't it? It's true.
yes.
It's incredible.
Yeah, but this was a great conversation. I actually really enjoyed hearing your story. So thank you for sharing it, Sasha. Also, I encourage all of you who are watching to save this show and come back and watch it again because Sasha really did have some great insights for business. And do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notifications every time a conversation drops, just like this one. So thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thank you to you, Sasha, for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Really, it was great. Thank you.